Welcome to Creators Blueprint.
Welcome to Creators Blueprint, where we talk about unnecessary stuff in design. I am Dennis, and I'm joined by Oscar. How are you today, Oscar?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing dandy today because it's Friday.
Yeah, Friday, which means the weekend starts, but you always have to be happy during the week, It can't just be happy for Friday.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
But anyways, firstly, just want to go over, as you may see right now, it's only two of us.
We're
me and
here right
Dennis.
now.
Our third member that, his name was Robert. His name is Robert, not was Robert. But,
He's very much well alive and pursuing other endeavors.
and ventures. Yeah, so I believe he will be stepping down from working with us. He has a lot of ventures on his plate, and we're allowing him to just go on and work more into those things.
But we're not slowing down.
Yeah, and we're still in contact with him. No hard feelings. Everything is good, But yeah,
We're not slowing down. If anything, we're more active on Instagram nowadays. We're trying to do a post every day or every other day and shout out people. We're trying to interview those people, ask them questions, and then we could talk about those answers on the podcast. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. So
I like a little bit on that. We are posting multiple people, but we won't be asking questions from all of them.
yeah. Only certain people.
Only certain ones of them, and the way that we pick that, I'm not sure how it is, but just if we're posting 4 posts that week, be sure that we're gonna try to get at least one of them to kind of give us some insight about whether it is the post or some insight on them as what they're up to and stuff like that. Okay.
But yeah, we're also gonna be trying to post every Tuesday, I believe. Every Tuesday.
And that goes for the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast every Tuesday, and for Instagram every other day. It might be I don't know. We're just gonna do as much as possible. So every Tuesday podcast, catch us on IG. And if you want any design work done, just hit us up. We're also trying to be a consultancy.
Yeah, as I said before, he is working in the Dutch design department. We both learn Dutch design. Obviously, he's in the Dutch design side of things, and I am in the footwear design side of things. So I know more footwear, and then he knows
more hard goods.
More hard goods.
So yeah, we're trying to be ambitious with this thing, and we're not gonna slow down. We're gonna keep on going.
All right.
What are we gonna talk about today, man?
I don't know. We got a list, so
yeah, I'm doing a list.
Where should we start? Just from the top?
Yeah,
we could start from where we left off.
Where do we left off?
Talk about?
Oh, we could talk about. Oh, okay. So the last episode we talked about tariffs. If you guys didn't watch the last episode because we only got a few views, we talked about tariffs, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what tariffs are?
I mean,
No.
we talked about it a whole podcast, but is it just the taxes or the cost that comes with the goods that are traveling from overseas?
Yeah,
right?
tariffs are a way to preference the domestic goods and tax goods that come from China. So yeah, the tariffs are taxes that are being implied to the goods coming from China. So the video game. Do you play any video games?
Yeah.
You love Fortnite?
I play Fortnite, but now I've been playing more Rocket League and NBA 2K because I bought it for $3.
I heard that game is not doing well because it's
one?
cheap. 2K.
It can't be doing well. They sold it for $3. So, I mean, it was a steal for me, but if they're selling it for $3, that means they're having a hard time getting them all out.
Was it used?
No, I bought a digital version. But I'm just saying, they must have had to pull the trigger, and they're coming out with a new one in September, NBA 2K20. So
wait, the one that you have was last year.
Yeah,
last year, and it's only $3.
Yeah,
nice.
Continue on your.
But
yes,
yeah,
I do play video games.
So yeah, that's my segue to console tariffs that are affecting console company. So apparently, the companies that make consoles, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, are taking these tariffs very seriously, and they made a letter to the president because our president is currently like at a trade war with China and it's going back and forth. Um, and apparently, to produce one of these consoles, it's near or at the cost of production. So they make very little in how do you call it?
Like the split is very close. You're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
right?
The split is very close.
Mhm.
The gross income and all that to like production to like actually selling the retail value. Um, and it's gonna be affecting them because there's a tariff that's gonna be implied that's 25% more, and it's gonna bump up the imported goods from 300 up to $300 billion exportions importations from China.
Mhm.
So they're this these taxes will affect the video game industry a lot.
Does that mean that they'll be raising the prices of the consoles?
They
Then,
would
right?
have to. I
That's the
have
only way to make that split high, like bigger.
right now the PlayStations are manufactured in China, and right now they're $300, right?
To make?
No, no,
Oh, you
no.
mean
To
retail?
retail.
Okay, in
So
stores.
so they're $300 right now, and they would be uh costing up to 375 if the 25% increase happens.
So they'll go up $75.
Mm-hmm. For PlayStation 4.
Oh, it's for like an old.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, man, I feel like prices have gone low compared to what it used to be, and
Yeah.
that would still be I think that's a price tag people are still willing to pay. But obviously, if that's for the PS4, which came out when, 2014,
13,
something
14.
like that, right? Then what does that mean for the PS5? How much would that be priced at?
700, 600.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, pushing it, you know.
So yeah, having tariffs also affects about nearly 220,000 people, not directly, but directly under the video game industry. They employ around 65,000 people. So yeah, for this market would be affected drastically. So Microsoft, Nintendo, and PlayStation, or Sony, all came up with a letter proposing modification to pursue the tariffs. In particular, tariffs on video game consoles would injure consumers, video game developers, retailers, and console manufacturers, put thousands of high-value, rewarding U.S. jobs at risk, and stifle innovation in our industry and beyond.
It's true. It's true. Cause like that's like throwing off everybody. Like the cost going into this department, the cost going into innovation, the cost going like everything has to be then restructured around the new, I guess, tariff percentage or whatever. So I mean, I could see how it's a big and it. I mean, consoles. It's huge.
It's not slowing down anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Consoles is just consoles. Imagine everything else.
Yeah, and that also affects the video games and the all the circuit boards, all the I can't even speak today. So yeah, that affects a bunch of stuff. And the most convenient way, it's not convenient at all, but a solution that people would have, I mean, these companies would have, is to move the factories outside of China. So like Cambodia, Vietnam, Korea, and all that, so they can't be taxed with the tariffs.
Indonesia,
Yeah, all
all
those.
those places. Yeah, cause
If
I don't know, it's like cheap or like
well, it's gonna be costing the same. It's gonna, if anything, it's gonna be costing a little bit more, but it's not gonna be costing just as much with the tariffs implied. Get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Right.
So these countries or companies might be taking advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
The opportunity. Yeah.
so that might be the best solution possible, to just move out
Mm-hmm.
and find another country to build them.
And I think that's the route that a lot of companies are taking. Like I've heard some forward companies moving, like I said, like I was saying, Indonesia. Like that's a place that everyone's trying to head towards, and there's already factories there, so it's easy. You just have to like build that relationship. So that's interesting. Um,
The terrorists are also like affecting my job. I don't want to get too much into it, but it is a problem that these companies are looking forward to restructure and relocate their factories outside of China.
mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
corruption.
Yeah.
Because the U.S. wants to make America great again, and
It's not working out.
it's affecting
Everything.
everything
else.
that's
Yeah,
being
yeah.
imported. But yeah,
Okay.
that's a little interesting article I've read over the week
Okay.
about console tariffs
Okay.
or tariffs.
And another topic. I don't know if you guys have heard of Kawhi Leonard,
No, I don't know who.
MVP of the
I don't watch sports.
2019 Toronto Raptors. They won the championships recently. Anyways, he's in a lawsuit battle with Nike over his claw logo. So he's best known in the NBA for having huge hands. I mean, you could Google him and you'll see his hands are like
How
huge.
big is his hands?
It's I don't even know how I can. It's probably like 12 inches. I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just huge. He could palm the ball. He could palm the ball. You know.
Yeah.
And so the story goes, in college he was already known for having big hands, and so he developed this nickname called the Claw. And so I guess when the opportunity came, he signed with Nike, and I guess Nike was coming to him and saying like, hey, um, what would you like the logo to be? Obviously, he had the hand. He knew that already, so he said that he wanted it to be the claw. He had a rough sketch of the claw, which basically was his hand outlined, and then he put his initials KL, and then the number 2 in the hand logo, which was a rough draft, and then he gave that to Nike, and then what Nike did was they got their designers to use that as inspiration and then come up with concepts, and obviously at Nike with all their like talented designers, they came up with something that's more let's say well put together, more perfect, and looks better overall. And now Kawhi Leonard, um, I guess he figured that Nike, since Nike designed it, Nike's house designed it, they have the copyrights of that logo, because you know basically he came to them as like a design consultancy and was like, hey, can you design a logo for me? And they were like, okay, but he was signed under them at the time, so they were like, okay, but we're gonna keep the rights to the logo. And I guess now he's not okay with it because he's not signed with Nike. He's signed with New Balance, and so he's in a whole big lawsuit. And now it's like he came up with the inspiration for it fully. Like you could clearly tell, like the initial idea came from Kawhi. But does it look exactly like the final logo that Nike has its rights on? No. So that's a battle that they're going back and forth in. What I would do as Kawhi, Kawhi is, I'm sure he's very rich, but to waste all your money to go against Nike and their lawyers and stuff like that to go over a logo that you inspired but didn't really like if his rough sketch was exactly like the final one, then I could see where he's coming from, but it's very just like vague. You see the inspiration, but you don't see exact one to one.
Yeah.
So what I would do if I was Kawhi would be to go to another design consultancy and then have them do another version of it, and then move forward from there.
Yeah, only change it 20%.
Yeah,
So apparently you get away with that.
Yeah, so
That has to be very frustrating knowing that you designed, I mean not designed, like something that has your name is you can't use the logo that has your name or you inspired. You get what I mean?
yeah, I understand.
So yeah, it sucks that he can't use what he basically not created, but lit on.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is like it's a bad look for Nike because like they won't just let it go because they can't they can't sell anything that's his. They're not gonna do anything with the logo, any products, but they just want the rights to the logo, so he can't use it.
Oh, that's very selfish of them.
Yeah, it's like, and they're a big house. Like, do you know how much other athletes they have already? But that comes with the cost of signing with a company. Like, if you're signing under Adidas, and then while you're with Adidas, they make a logo for you. Sometimes you can't just take that with you wherever you go and go to like New Balance and then use that logo still, unless you have it under a contract, which is not the case in this scenario. So that's what's Kawhi's going through right now, and apparently Kawhi Leonard during his playoff run with the Raptors, like he was already going through these lawsuits with Nike, and Nike actually sued him for breaching the contract because he just took the logo that Nike made of his claw and was selling products with that logo on it. So now Nike is actually suing him for breaching the contract and using the logo they designed illegally. So it's like just a bunch of lawsuits. And now Kawhi is finding himself, because he just got traded actually to the Los Angeles Clippers. And so he's just going through it right now. But
It has to be so frustrating.
yeah, I wonder if these designers got anything from it though.
Definitely not. These designers we're being used. These designers are being used.
If it was like any other person, like if it was a design consultancy, they would probably just be like, hey, pay me like a percentage or something and get the logo. But Nike, I don't know if they're going to let that go.
It looks like Nike is very stingy in this
hold on to it.
situation.
Yeah.
They're just taking advantage of the designers, Kawhi, and they're not going to do anything about it. They're just going to stand back and sue back, I guess.
They have the money to keep going, so Kawhi's probably going to let it go, in my opinion. All right.
So, yeah, you were close with Sands. It's 11 and a quarter across from his thumb to his pinky, and 9 3/4 inches long. That's 52% wider than the average man's hand.
Yeah, and that's why he has the claw nickname. Yeah.
Claw. In other news, are you an Apple fanboy?
I would say I guess so.
As for using the Apple
I
laptop,
was using the Apple laptop. Yeah, I guess so.
and I have my Apple
Phone?
iPhone.
Yeah.
And you have your Apple iPhone right here.
Yeah. I would say so, but like, okay.
Where I'm trying to get at is Jony Ive left Apple.
No, I don't know that.
Well, who's Jony Ive, you ask?
Isn't he like the Dutch designer that came up with the first Apple computer?
Yeah, the iMac, the transparent blue. He's
Isn't he also the guy that came up with the iPhone?
Yeah, and
Not funny.
he's also the guy that did the iPod Shuffle.
Yeah, he basically did all of it.
Well, he basically did all the Apple products. He's the head industrial designer. Well, he left Apple to start his own consultancy. How do you feel about that?
I feel like he worked for, I don't know when he started at Apple, but
he started in 1997-ish.
So he's built up a big resume. He's acquired a bunch of money and has a bunch of patents probably. And I think he probably thought it's time for him to do something of his own that's not under the Apple brand.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you have that much credibility under your belt, might as well just leave the company and start your own.
I feel like what he's about to do now is like I was gonna say for fun, but like in his shoes, he's probably looking to come up with something that can go head to head with Apple design wise, and just be his own probably, and that's probably what he's going for.
Well, he is on his own, but Apple is one of his clients for his new consultancy.
I mean, so he's just getting paid more then.
Yeah, he's just getting all that guap, but in his own company.
So no salary, just
no benefits, no nothing, no 401k.
I'm sure he's good. Like, he's good without the 401k.
Yeah, he's probably banking with millions. The millions he made from all the products he's designed. And yeah, did you know he was inspired by Dieter Rams?
Yes, I do know that.
Do you know all the 10 Dieter Rams rules?
No.
Yeah, me too. Um, but yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
I find it interesting that he left the company that he helped build with Steve Jobs. So like the two OGs are just not there anymore. I believe just well, there's still a lot more names there, but I don't know what Apple's gonna do because it seems like they're going downhill in my opinion. What do you think of that?
Innovation wise, I don't think that we've seen anything like any huge leaps forward in design. The most recent thing they came up with is or at least what I saw was controversial was the stand, right? The computer monitor stand or something.
Yeah, that tilts like does all these things.
Yeah. And I don't see anything crazy with that, and I'm assuming they have an iPhone coming out soon. And most of it's usually the same thing.
Yeah, ever since the iPhone 5 or 6, it's literally all not even you could go back up to the 4, but the 4 was pretty small. But from the 4 moving forward, like the operating system was like stood relatively the same.
Yeah.
So like right now I have an iPhone 7 and I literally have no desire of getting like the new iPhone X or whatever it's out right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The only desire comes not from the look of the design, I feel, but from like the point of sometimes your iPhone 7 starts getting too old and then too slow, and so you have to get another phone. But yeah, I'd probably just stick with the 7 if you were at the 7.
Yeah, like right now, like for me, the iPhone 7, it works perfectly fine. It's not slowed down, and all the apps are quite as fast when I open them. No problem at all. The battery's still the same. But yeah, I feel like it's unnecessary if you want to go get the greatest and latest thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
At this point, yes.
at this point, so
Anything higher than 7 is like
so
same thing.
I feel like the Apple is just going downhill. They have no idea what they're doing with the like. Yeah, they're creating their laptops to like operate faster, and all that. But then again, it's no major innovation going on.
One thing I heard about was like they were gonna do a gaming console. I know you just talked about gaming consoles, but I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah,
Um,
I did hear about that, but they should get into VR. I feel like there's so much
Potential.
potential in VR.
Yeah, that VR is definitely the next step, but then people are gonna have to make literally gaming rooms, cause you have to have space and you have like so. It's gonna be different. It's gonna require a lot of changes to like the setup of the usual just on the living room table or whatever.
Like I saw a YouTube video where there was this facility that uses VR for the players to get around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say there's like a box in the corner. You put the VR headset, and the VR paints that box as like the setting you have your game on. Like it could be a trunk, or it could like you have another environment. It could be something else like a seat. It could paint. They could paint it whatever you want. There's like various settings.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the company that does that, but that's pretty interesting. They could just paint a whole environment, so you see one thing, I see another thing, but the objects are still there.
Damn, man, that's good for like previewing like a room before you even like try to change it up or anything, you know?
Dude, there's so much you could do with VR. Like high key, you could paint environments, cities. Imagine playing Grand Theft Auto in VR.
That would be amazing. And then imagine like seeing like you're gonna go buy something, whether that's like let's say you're trying to edit things to your car, trying to do changes to your house, and like the person that you're employing comes back with like a VR headset and it's like, okay, this is how it's gonna look.
That
And
would
you
be
get to
pretty
see it
dope.
already. You get to confirm, okay, confirm it's gonna look like this. Like it
It's
could
good.
do a lot. Even when it comes like let's say down to like on a bigger scale, like people, let's say an architect is like trying to give out the idea to people of how the building's gonna look.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine like you can put on a VR set and you're literally like
Looking
looking at the
around.
building. Yeah.
That would be very dope. Imagine having keyshot renderings of a room.
Oh my god. Word.
That would be super dope. I think it would get to the point where it's like Iron Man, holograms. You just use the VR to like move the product or like expand it or make it shorter.
Jesus, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I did see a video a while back ago where Nike, what was it? Nike and what was it? Another company. It's a tech company where developing a program where you use VR to design the shoe.
Was it Nike?
Was it Nike? I don't. Let me see. But I found it very interesting that it'll save so much time with with designers for designers if you could showcase your product through CAD automatically.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do know with VR and like let's say a company is Adidas. I know that Adidas was in partnership with another company, and they came up with like a Snapchat filter that allowed for, I guess, customers to. The filter was the shoes, and you could put the shoes over your foot. And so, in a way, you're kind of trying on the shoes before you buy them. And so, the whole thing with this was that they were trying to tackle stores that were their competitors. So, let's say you go into a Foot Locker or you go into a Nike store or something like that, right? And you go there and you open your Snapchat, let's say, to take a picture of your shoe, but then what comes up is the opportunity to try this Adidas filter that was the next Ultra Boost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of like in your way in a way. It comes up out of nowhere and it's like, hey, try this shoe on before you even take a picture of that shoe you're trying to take a picture of that's already on your foot that you're trying on. So I saw that.
There's an app where it's not only shoes but like it puts jewelry and shirts on you without even wearing it.
I want to open up another topic, but I don't know if that's gonna.
Yeah, you can open up another topic.
So, this week, you on your IG feed, did you see a lot of people? This is kind of related to VR or like the way AI kind of works, but on your feed, were there a lot of old people faces?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everywhere.
So, so there was this app called Face App, and what it did is it allowed for you to put a picture of yourself, current picture of yourself, and what it did is it had filters that you can use. And these filters range from putting glasses on you, changing your hair color, making you look younger, making you look, what's it called? Putting like a beard on you. But the biggest one that was trending is the old filter, the old face filter. And yeah, like it's crazy how just from a click of a button, they're able to put like an old face on you, and from a click of a button, you could add a beard on you, and a click of a button, you could like change everything. You could be a totally new person, just with a couple clicks on the app. But also, I don't know if you heard about how apparently the security is not that well with their apps, and that unfortunately, if you use the app and you edited your photos and then published or like exported them, I think it's all the way to that point. I don't know if it's whether you just use the app, but you're at risk with Russia. Like you agreed to the Russians being able to use
your
photos for promotion for that app or something like that.
That is crazy insane. Our photos are about to
be robots.
They're gonna be a whole bunch of Instagram robots that just follow people and spam. Our photos are gonna be used for that, and I really don't see the
funny, crazy.
No, it's pretty stupid why people are getting mad that the Russians are doing this. If the Russians could just go on Facebook and just take anybody's photo, they don't need an app for them to require a photo. You get me?
Yeah, and
Like it's already out there.
yeah,
Like one more picture of you turning old doesn't
yo, and if you
affect
literally
anything.
have your Instagram as public and you're crying about this, then that makes no sense. Like literally, anyone, there's some people that put everything out on IG. So like,
It's whatever.
it's
Like you
whatever.
shouldn't worry
Like,
about it.
yeah. So that's that.
Like I could literally go to your Instagram, screenshot a photo, and use you as a robot, as a bot on Instagram. It's not that hard. So like, the Face app being something to do with Russians, literally isn't like big news. It shouldn't shock anybody.
Yeah.
It's only owned by Russians. But I did find the Nike hologram thing. It's Nike and Dell and Ultra Haptics Vision, where you should guys search. You should search it up on YouTube, where they design through VR. It says Dell, Nike, Meta, and Ultra Haptics push the boundaries to immerse creativity. Today we can deliver more natural, creative canvas so designers can focus on their vision, not the technology itself. Dell Canvas is a precursor to the future that will use VR, AR, voice control, and a digital canvas, all working together to let people be more creative in natural ways. What do you think? That's so cool. Just imagine doing SolidWorks or Rhino on fucking VR. Just grab a surface and pull. Grab a surface, a point, pull, 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 and you just create your shape. Just literally like molding it.
It's cool and it's nice and it's creative, but is it gonna be manufacturable and all that shit?
Of course, you could be
One of one shoe. You know how expensive that shoe's. I mean, okay, this is a whole different thing, but like, yeah, it's just gonna be a super expensive shoe then,
Why?
cause it's one of one.
No, I mean just to model on.
Oh yeah, to model it, then yeah, for
Not
sure.
not like
Just to have.
literally making it.
No, I understand. To have the model and to have it and be able to rotate it and be okay with it. Then what's next?
Okay, then.
That's it. You just
That's it.
have it in your USB. Like, hey, look at this shoe I have.
Look at the shoe design. No, but it would be dope.
That's cool.
Like it would be much easier for like consultancies. Like to put on your VR, your eyes will be fucked though at that point. Just staring at a screen the whole time, literally
Oh
on
my
your
God.
eyes,
Bro, your eyes will be done.
and then just do a product, send it out to China, get it back, and you get a prototype.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Cause then you could see what it is before you get it back from China.
You know what? We should start that shit right now. We patent it right now on Creators Blueprint. That's our idea. It's gonna be a Rhino for VR. They probably have that though. SolidWorks VR.
Yeah.
Keyshot VR. I think Keyshot does have VR.
Well, anyways, you're putting it into the public, so it's kind of done already. So.
I'm pretty sure Keyshot does have VR. I'm gonna search that up. They do have VR. I just searched it up. So it's a quick pause, but I just searched it up. And you could use the Vibe, Oculus, and you could use the remotes from the headsets to move around the product and just add materials and do whatever you want with it.
I've never used. This is for Rhino, right?
No, this is Keyshot.
Oh, then that's cool then. That's cool. Cause I thought you meant like Rhino, and then using the VR with Rhino.
No, that would be also dope.
But that's a headache, wouldn't it?
No.
I don't know how to use Rhino.
It's basically gonna be like molding clay. How dope would it be? Just have a sphere and just pull away. That would be dope.
That'd be
Or you could just have a box and just extrude it. I'm glad that Keyshot is taking that route to VR.
Are you glad?
I'm very glad. I miss Keyshot and Rhino. I miss doing CAD, 3D. Anywho, we did like a mini interview with one of our, well, they were not classmates, but we knew him in college. His name is Schnuer. We did a post of his headset, which was damn, I'm in the wrong Instagram. I need to go to Creator's Instagram. we did a post of a series of his renderings of his wireless earpiece called Bud. It looks like a very sleek design. Uh, and yeah, we just wanted to shout him out because the renderings, his keyshot renderings look very, very clean, and his yeah, fuck. I don't know what to say. Okay, but I'm just gonna go to the interview.
I was gonna talk about.
Yeah, you can go. Damn, I have like 14 Instagram accounts and I can't find where I messaged them from. Okay, I found the message.
But I do like how it's like laid out, and how he chose his key shot like shots to show away the colorways, and then his final in real life rendering.
So like the questions I asked was, what are you up to nowadays? What's your design process and inspiration for your wireless earbuds called Bud? Any advice for designers, and what's your favorite tools to sketch with? He answered, you want to read? Or
do this?
in a different voice?
Shit. Okay, so he said currently he's interning at Maform Design in Budapest, Hungary. This was a personal project for his Render Weekly Challenge, giving him 1 week to finish, and that's very good. But he also says, my advice for designers would be to keep trying new techniques and learn new programs. His favorite tool to sketch with is the 0.3 felt tip pen. He said he uses that to not get carried away with the details. I think you get carried away with the details with that. You know what I mean? Because when you can, with such a fine point.
So yeah, we would like to have more of these small interviews from other people. Just tag us on Instagram, Creators Blueprint, and we'll be having new episodes every Tuesday. And I would love to have people come up here. It'll be great. You have anything else to say?
Are we ending this?
Of course, brother.
All right, brother. So yeah, once again, thank you for tuning in. If you're tuned in, because if you are tuned in, you're listening to us. And we look forward to continuing on this run. And make sure to follow us on our IG page, Creators Blueprint, and follow us on our YouTube channel, Creators Blueprint,
and on Spotify and Apple, iTunes, Creators Blueprint,
and Tidal, right?
Oh, no title. I didn't make a title account.
That's fine.
But yeah, all right. Take care. Stay golden. Know the drugs. Peace out.
Peace.